All right, this is a CVT lesson for Sarah. This is, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Budgie. I did another lesson. It's like a partial lesson that someone had actually requested. But it's a song called I Can't See My Feelings. This is tuned flat. Now, a friend of mine, 𝐂𝐐𝐒, haven't talked to him in years, did play with this band because I just looked it up. Like around 2007, 2008. But Sarah, you never cease to amaze me with your abstractness and diverseness in music. It's awesome. So, it's 5 pages of tabs. Section 1 comes in at 0 seconds and sounds like this. By the way, this reminds me of Rush, but this is, you go back to the fly-by-night days, production, and I don't know, you just can hear that influence. It's... Now that's section 1. It's actually played 8 times. I did it 4 times there. Starting with G major, the 4-finger version. From the top string down, it's 3-2, open, open, 3-3. Your strum is coming in as a triplet, so down, up, down. And then in your tabs, which you already have because I sent you your tabs first, your line with the X is just letting you know that the notes aren't ringing. In other words, it's not... They let you know there's a sometimes quick rest, sometimes longer rest. But try to silence that. From there we move to D major, the standard form. Thumb will mute the low E and you hit all 5 strings. A lot of players, when they play the D, you look at it in a chord book, it'll show the last 4 strings, but most players are hitting the open A. The D chord has an A in it, so it's just got an A on the bass. Hit that once into a power chord, 1E, 3A. Now that one rings, and then just take your root off to where it's open E, 3A, and you're gonna hit the E and A string together and hammer on this power chord to the 1st fret. Once you're there, you're going to palm mute it as it sits 5 times. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, section 2 comes in at 32 seconds. And there's an acoustic running through this too. I can hear it clear as day. They're kind of doing the same, but I think the one guitar might be up here. Here's what I got. That's pulsating. So you'll see an open E. There's a palm mute. It's kind of a transition coming out of section 1 into 2. That open E. Don't let it trip you. I'd rather you not even play it if it throws you off. The section really kicks in on open E, 2A, 2D. I just bar that and I've got my finger curled out to where it's muting the D in case I hit that. Down, up, down with a rest. 3, 4, 3, 4. Same beat over 1, 3, 3, EAD. Now the fingerings in the tabs, you already know. I like to put them, but everyone's finger size is different, so adjust accordingly for that. Right back to the E power chord with the octave that we started with. Right back to the F that we did, but we're going to go strum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, and then you're starting it over for most of it. Back to the E, to the F, to the E, and then this is how it ends. 1, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, and here's the beat of it. So a rest in between that, this one rings, and then you'll hear this 7A, 7D with 3rd and 4th finger, and 5G. You're gonna pick, so it starts as an arpeggio, A, D, G, and then strum the B and E together. So it sounds like this. You'll hear it, like I said, pulsating. Make sure this index isn't getting in the way. Sometimes it can be part of our hand or the bottom of our index finger that could be the problem with muting it. Sometimes we want it there. Not in this case. We have those double opens, so. Then you're hitting repeats, section 1 and 2. You know, you go through the whole. Oops. It goes through all of the parts you just learned. So the next change that comes up is 1 minute and 38 seconds in. This is section 3. It's played 4 times. That's 1 time. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Think of it like a finger exercise. It's a chromatic. We're moving in half steps. On the A string, 7, 8, 9, 10. Use accordingly the finger to match with it. Don't, in other words, don't go. Utilize all 4 of these fingers. Rest. See how I'm leaving them down? Because now we're going to be playing it descending. That's ascending. Now we're going descending backwards. Like I said, that's 4 times. The next change comes in at 2 minutes 10 seconds. This is section 4. Really like this part. For some reason, this reminded me a little bit of like old Van Halen or something, but. Oops. Wait. Yeah. So you'll end up going 5E, 7 D. Now I put 3rd. You can use 3rd or 4th. And then go 5D, 7A, 5E. The pick directions you can experiment with. Oops. Because the way I wrote it, at least how I was feeling it at the time, was down, down, or down, down, up, down, up. But that could be up, up, up if you wanted. Just mess with it. Okay, then 5-4 DG. Keep the knuckles coming at a downward angle. And then 4-2, same strings. You can adjust fingerings. If you don't want to get 3 fingers involved, you can do it like this. So 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 1st. Back to the hook. Okay, so it starts with that. Then you're back to it. But this time, 5-4, 4-2 with the rest. Back to 5-4. Slide that a whole step sharp up to 7-6. Make sense? And then there's a 5 at the end of that, which really loops it back. So see what happens there? On the 4th time you won't do that though, and that's because it's transitioning into another section. Page 2 at the top, we're at section 5, 2 minutes 40 seconds. And you can experiment with fingering on this. This is probably how they're doing it though, it makes sense. And that's going to go twice. So 3rd finger 5A, rest, and then 5-4-3, and then 3-4-5 on the E. And you'll see double dots, that's played twice. Then you hit a bunch of repeats, section 1, 2, 1, and 2. Guitar solo at 4 minutes 4 seconds. And some pretty cool little riffs in here, Sarah, that you'll like. 12A, 3rd finger, 10th fret D and G bar. So make sure this 3rd finger, because Hendrix did this a lot with his double stops. You come in, you have to be careful, because what we're doing is hammering to the 12th fret on the D. You want to make sure that when this pinky comes in, that it doesn't mute 10th fret off the G. A lot of times people have the technique you know, with everything, but they have a finger that's just muting. If they just change the angle of it, it can fix everything. So we have the hammer, like I said, and and then just remove the pinky and go back to the 12, 10, 10. So now that is important to remember, because in this solo, for quite a while, that's going to be the hook, and then you're going to have a little riff after it, and then it'll go back to the hook. So 12G bend with the third finger, whole step. So you'll bend, hit the 13 as you're holding it. It sounds flat because I got a floating trim here that's not blocked. And then 12G pre-bend release, 10G, 12D, vibrato. That's our first one. Second one, here's our hook again. And we go like this. Oops. So, same kind of concept. Bend the 13B, back it with a couple fingers, just like we did here. So we're bending it, make sure you reach the whole step. Pinky 13E, so we're hitting them both. And then come back down, bend the 13B, and repeat that. So it's... Then hit them both together, but bend only the B. Hit them, and vibrato. So it's like this. Actually... Back to the hook. There it is. Okay, we're good. Then kind of a little variation. Sorry, did I show you the wrong one? I sure did. Back to the 13B. No, we did that one. With the 10B, vibrato slide to 8. Then the hook again. Okay, then this one. It's like a little more going on with the filler riffs. 12G bend. So you're going to bend it, 13B as a hold, and then pick the 12th fret on the G. You're already there, you're bending it. 4 times and then release it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 10G. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the 10G. Back to the hook. 13B. Now this is the one I was doing a second ago, so I'm glad I went back and retraced this part. I had skipped one. See what I did there? So you kind of already learned that one. Back to the hook. And this little riff comes in at 419. So we started this section at 404 for the guitar solo. Now we're down at 419. Back to the 12G bend. 13B hold. 12G bend or pre-bend release. It's already bent, right? So, and then 10, 12 back and forth on the G and D. Then we can move to page 3 and continue on. Back to the hook. 13B. Oh, this one's cool. Bend it, hold it, 13E, 13B, release, 12G bend, whole step, vibrato. And you can bend down or up. When you're on the G and D, it's kind of up to you. Go with what you're feeling. It's probably my favorite one, and it's the shortest one note-wise. This reminds me of like George Harrison or something. Back to the hook. 12G. Same kind of concept as the last one. Bend the 12, catch the 13 off a hold. 12G. Release, and then 10, 12, GD, vibrato. So, hook. 13B. Bend, hold, hit 13E, and do that twice. It's... And then together, bend, vibrato. So, then we have section 5. Back to that one time. The only thing that kind of is left here at 444, for the most part, is some little filler riffs that's going on. So we're going to go up to 20 on the high E, 19 and 17. Set all three of them down, and it's that 4 times. Experiment with the picking. That can be played with all downs in all reality, because of the pull-offs in there. So pick, pull, pull, like dominoes. Let them drop the right way. After you pull off, then pick the 17 and do it 4 times. Okay, and then if there's more, then you slow it down. 20, 19, 17, hammer 19. And then 17B slide off, so it's this. Back to section 5 one time. So, Sarah, what's happening is section 5 is this. Where is it? It's the part that goes like this. With no star. Actually, I think that is in there. But that's where you're going to keep seeing this section 5 thing. So that becomes the hook now, like this was earlier. Now that part is, followed by some riffs. The next one is at 452. You're going to go 7th fret G, 3rd finger, back it with 2 fingers. Go down, up, down, up, down, up, and gradually bend till you reach the whole step. So it's... Or, once you're there, pinch, which isn't critical, by the way. Especially with this amount of distortion, it's hard to get. Once you get there, there it is. Pick, pick again, and then bend the 7, pick the 7, pick 5, hammer 7, vibrato, slide. So right after all that bend stuff, it's...